It's Wednesday, and yet I still have that opening week hangover. What a first week of the 2017 NFL season it really was, especially how it began. All I can say about what happened with the Patriots is simple. Karma's a bitch. Not as big as a bitch as the Patriots quarterback, but a bitch nonetheless. I mean, what did you expect? You guys had the Super Bowl handed to you by the commissioner, and then you still come out with this facade that Goodell was against you, even though he was working for you all this time. I mean, Super Bowl 51 proved it. And you had Marky Mark out there, who the same Marky Mark who, when New England was getting their asses kicked, left the game, boasting about the win. They all celebrated like jerks, and then what happened? Alex Smith and company wailed on them. Matter of fact, New England blew a lead of their own. So again, like I said, again, you reap what you sow. And I'll just say this: if I had a dime for every time Aaron Rodgers and the Packers blew a lead that badly, I would have zero dimes. Just had to get that in. How about that bad man though? As usual, Aaron Rodgers went out there and did what Rodgers always does: kick ass and dominate. And he did it when it counted in the second half. I mean, yes, it was a bit of an ugly game throughout the first half and into the third quarter. But as always, Rodgers did his thing, kicked ass, ran ran for three first downs, and ended up winning the game. I mean, what more proof do people need that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league? I mean, I say that on Twitter a lot, and they know I'm a Packers fan, but I have never once been accused of bias when I say that. That's because they know it's true. But yeah, it was a great win. It was a great win for the Packers, but the best win, the best win in my opinion for Week One was the LA Rams. How, how about the Rams? They beat the holy bejesus out of the Colts. And yes, the Colts were without Andrew Luck. But even so, they went out there and put up 46 points on the Colts. Now, keep in mind, this is the same Rams team who last year averaged 14 points per game. 14 points per game, and they more than tripled that in week one. And that's amazing. And like I said, that to me, that was the best win out of all the wins in that game, in that week. And of course, the first Sunday was capped off by the Cowboys and Giants. Dak Prescott finally got that New York Giants monkey off his back, and they beat the Giants. Now the Giants without Odell Beckham, and this still boggles my mind. I've always considered the Giants a deep team. But without that one player, I don't care if he is one of the best receivers in the league. Without that one player, they only got a field goal. That still boggles my mind. Like I said, I think the Giants are a deep team. Odell's not all they have. But without that one player, they couldn't get in the end zone. Hell, it took them, I think, until the third quarter for them to finally get past midfield. Something was wrong there. I mean, I don't get it. But either way, Dak Prescott finally got that Giants monkey off his back because they lost three games. Well, really, he lost two, but they were both to the Giants. They lost the last week of that season. Dak barely played because they had cushion everything, so I don't count that game. But the Giants won both games against Dallas last year. Now he finally beat them third time's a charm, they say. And of course, we were treated to the yearly Monday night doubleheader for Week One. The Vikings beat the Saints, and Sean Payton looks like better watch his back because Adrian Peterson may put a knife in it, among other weapons. I mean, he was pissed after entering halftime. He looked at Peyton like he wanted to kill the man. It was crazy. It was almost scary. And of course, Chargers Broncos ended up being the better game of the two. Because I thought that was going to be a blowout, but and it was at the start. Denver was blowing out the L.A. Chargers. Um, Denver was blowing them out, but the Chargers were coming back. They had it within 3 points, and then they kicked. The field goal, but he got iced, and the real try ended up being blocked. I swear, I hate that icing the kicker tactic so much. It's so cheap. I wanted overtime in that game. I wanted to see that first. I wanted to get my first glimpse of that new 10-minute overtime. But instead, the kicker got iced, and the real kick ended up being blocked. So no game has gone to overtime as of yet. And so I hate that icing the kicker. And and I have to mention this. Even I watch Canadian football. They never ice the kicker. I hardly ever see ice the kicker in Canadian football. You know why? Because in Canada, teams are allowed 2 timeouts per game. In the NFL, it's 3 timeouts per half. So and those timeouts are allowed to be kind of say that you can call those timeouts in the you can call all those timeouts or whatever you have left in the 2 minute warning. In the 3 minute warning in Canada, you have 2 timeouts per game, but you only use one in the 3 minute warning. After that, it's just whatever happens, happens. So that's why ice the kickers almost never happens in Canada. But that stuff needs to be outlawed. It's ridiculous. Ice the kicker took away made an already good game. Took I'm sorry, forget my stutter. Putting that on the hangover. Um, on the football hangover. Ice the kicker took away some drama in that game. I mean, if that field goal had counted, it could have made an already good and close game even better with overtime. But I digress. It was still a great week of football. It was still a great week of football, and of course, not everybody played sadly because the Dolphins and the Buccaneers game, which was originally scheduled for Week 1, was sadly was postponed due to Hurricane Irma. And that game is being moved to Week 11, which is where on November 19th, where both teams actually have a bye, so it's nice and convenient. Which also means both teams will be playing all 16 games consecutively without a bye. Now, a team hasn't played that many games consecutively without a bye week since I think 2001, the 2001 season. Actually, I take that back, since the 2000 season, because for a brief period of time there were 31 teams in the league, and that meant there were bye weeks every week. Usually, bye weeks went from like week 3 or 4 until week 11 or 12. But yeah, so all condolences go out to, well, people in Houston who are still going through the effects of Hurricane Harvey, and the people in Florida and in some parts of Georgia and other places that are being affected by Hurricane Irma. It's hard. It was hard. It's heartbreaking. As soon as one hurricane dies out, another pops up, and a third was about to pop up, but that died down quickly. Thank the good Lord for that. So, but overall, it was a wild week in the NFL, and week 2 will kick off tomorrow night in Cincinnati with the Bengals hosting the Texans. Uh, the main event, in my opinion, is the NFC Championship rematch, Green Bay in Atlanta on Sunday Night Football. We owe those Falcons an ass whooping. Obviously for beating us, but mainly for blowing that Super Bowl. Come on. The next Monday's game is Lions and Giants. The LA Chargers home opener is this upcoming Sunday, and they face the aforementioned Miami Dolphins, their first official game of the season. And so that's what's in store for week 2. If week 1 is any indication, if week one's any indication, this is going to be a crazy season. And New England goes to New Orleans. Now, New Orleans gets mad enough. The Patriots could start 0-2. Wouldn't that be delicious? So, with that, I say fasten your seatbelts for a very crazy season. And I'll be back with the baseball recap this upcoming Sunday. So until then.